to brand new spoiler review of Invincible on Amazon Prime. We're breaking down the final episode of part 1 of season 2 of Invincible, episode 4. It's been a while. I'm Max Enberg. Welcome back to Max Talks Movies. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, a box office breakdown show every single Monday, and weekly movie franchise rankings. So please subscribe, ring the bell if you're new to the channel. Comment down below. Do you love season 2 so far of Invincible? Do you wish we got the next 4 episodes the next 4 weeks? Or are you happy that you get to sit and think about these first 4 episodes before we get the final 4 episodes of season 2 in early 2024? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Also, please like the video, the thumbs up button. That is how you support this channel, so please do that as well. So if you're new to the channel, first time joining me, welcome. I'm a major fan of Invincible. It's one of my favorite first seasons of a television show ever. And obviously with this final episode, it's one of my favorite shows ever. I just adore this show. I think it's some of the best superhero content we've gotten in the last 15, 20 years. And I've loved this season so far, but I do think that this is the best episode of the season because we get Mark and Omni-Man together, talking, fighting, and I love this episode. So let's get into my thoughts, my general thoughts on my spoiler thoughts still for episode 4 called It's Been a While. So it has been a while since these two characters have seen each other and we learn what happened to Nolan. The fact that they really do a good job showing Nolan really not understand what love is and what to do with those feelings. As we learn throughout the episode, the Viltrumites do not have any empathy or love for anyone except Viltrumites. And they are supposed to conquer every single world that they are sent to. Not just did we learn in this episode that did Nolan obviously not conquer Earth, but he found another people that he cares about and had a kid with someone who is not genetically similar to himself. So Nolan is center focus in this episode, which I really loved. I think this is also the best episode as it pertains to voice acting. I think a lot of people just throw away voice acting, both in Hollywood and also both in critics and fans. Yes, it's always great to hear the voice of someone, but there is a true performance going on here. And I really believe that Steven Yeun, Sandra Oh, J.K. Simmons, I mean, everyone on the show, but really those three deliver in this episode, especially Yeun and Simmons, who are phenomenal together. They have great chemistry, and it's an authentic father-son relationship if this was a situation. So we always cut back to the fact that he was about to go into a black hole and kill himself. And we get this scene where, you know, Nolan is the Thraxans are about to fall into the black hole. He saves them. And then we cut back to the conversation. And while Mark hugs Nolan at first, he is not happy because Nolan calls what happened on Earth a mistake. And he said, not just is my mom living in torture, you called her a pet. You killed thousands upon thousands of people. It's more than just a mistake. And Mark gets ticked off. He says F you a lot to him, which I really appreciated. A lot of superhero content, because it's PG-13, sometimes doesn't have the most authentic dialogue. And I know a lot of people don't love curse words, but this is authentic dialogue in this relationship. And to hear Mark call, say F you to him multiple times about this episode, I really enjoyed it. So Mark Lee is about to leave, and Nolan's like, first of all, you can't go back. It's a million miles away. You don't know where you're going. You need a ship. That's one. Two, let me show you about these people. And Mark Lee says, I'll give you 5 minutes. I want to save these people. I don't give a crap about you. Now we learn that Nolan has a romantic relationship now in the show with his new wife, which is obviously off-putting. Andressa, who's voiced by Rhea Seehorn, who's obviously fantastic in Better Call Saul. She voices Andressa, and they have a kid. Obviously, as I just told about, it's no good for Viltrum to do that. So Nolan says, Viltrum's going to come here. They're going to kill these people and your brother. No matter what you think about me, we need to protect these people. And Mark's like, I didn't even defeat you. I got my ass kicked by you. So why do you think I can help out the Viltrumites? And Nolan said, I'll train you. And then obviously the Viltrumites come right away. So before we get to the back half of that plot line, I'll talk about the other plot lines in this episode. Debbie is obviously very much grieving. She does the same kind of, I don't want to say depressing, but the same depressing vignette, same way that Nolan did, walking through different backgrounds. And she's about to jump off the highway. But instead of Nolan being brought back due to trying to be a hero, she just realized that she needs to wake up and try to move on as best as possible from this situation. She talks to Nolan's grave, even though obviously Nolan's not in there. And it's a right question, which is that it's really emotional. And she says, why, if you were just going to leave or you were just going to conquer the earth, why did you waste 20 years with me? Why did you get married and have a kid with me if your goal was just to conquer the earth? Why was I sucked into this? And towards the end of the episode, Debbie is obviously packing. She's moving out of the house. And she has this really good scene with Cecil where she's like, I'm so done taking your money because I really appreciate your money because out of our situation, we really needed it. But now we're not trying to be in a situation where we have to owe you because you are so closely tied to Mark. I don't want him or me to feel like that we owe you anything. And she's like, I'm done. I'm moving away. I'll figure it out myself. And, Cecil's like, if you change your mind, she's like, I'm not changing my mind. So I really enjoyed that we get the last scene with Art, who is voiced once again by Mark Hamill, who was the costume designer in season 1. And it's a fantastic, maybe the best scene of the episode, where Art is basically like, yeah, sure, he's got the superpowers. He might have this physical strength, but you're the stronger person. As you said, Nolan was the one going around trips. You're the one who took care of Mark, and all of Mark's best qualities are from you. And I really thought it was a fantastic scene because yes, Mark would have easily turned if he really just adored his dad like he thought, but Mark's relationship with his mom is why Mark did not turn bad and is very much against his father. He defends his mother. That's the key relationship that is a through line throughout the entire show. And I really appreciate the Art scene with her because that really opens her eyes that they're the relationship that has kept Nolan from not, first of all, eviscerating and destroying Earth, but also it's made Mark a really good person. And I think that's a really great scene. Amber and William are at college and they're trying to invite Adam Eve. Adam Eve's going through a lot with all this family stuff. She's like, I'll come next week. And then she has this big fight where she almost kills 2 civilians, or I really don't know if she does kill those 2 civilians. So Eve's kind of all over the place. We have the Mahler twins, who we finally see for the first time, the one Mahler twin who actually knows that he's not the clone, that he is the original. And that dynamic, which was hinted at in season 1, they said, we always need to know, we always cannot be in a situation where one of us does know that the other one is the clone or not. So we see that transpire, and then in the post-credit scene, the non-Two-Face, basically, Mahler twin, kills the other one. So we'll get back to the usual stuff for the Mahler twins. We get no Guardians of the Globe this episode, which I think is really interesting. Why they didn't go back to the Guardians of the Globe again? There's still 4 more episodes, so it's not the season finale or anything. We also get a huge part of the episode with Donald, who is starting to realize that he did die in that explosion with Omni-Man. He even tests to try to cut himself, and while he bleeds and it hurts, the knife bends. So there's clearly some robot or something in him that isn't human, and we don't know if this is the first time this has happened to Donald, but obviously Cecil is not telling Donald for a specific reason, and I'm very interested to see how that goes. Now let's again focus now on the Mark and Omni-Man back half of the episode, where they're fighting, and we think Nolan kills one of them, and Nolan basically snaps at Mark when he comes down and sees all of these Thraxans are killed, and he grabs Mark by the neck and says, why do I feel this way about these people? Why do I feel so bad that they're dying, and why do I have to protect them? And Mark says, I just wish you felt like that way on Earth. And that really opened Nolan's eyes. Now they're fighting. Mark is getting his ass kicked because he doesn't want to kill anyone. And Nolan says, you have to do something. Like, you can't just sit there and not be aggressive. You have to let something out. And obviously Mark does. Now he doesn't kill her. Nolan kills this one lady in a gruesome way, absolutely gruesome way. But the person who Nolan thought he killed earlier in the episode comes back and breaks basically Nolan's back. And then we have this big scene at the end of the episode, which is what I'll end on, with General Craig, who's now voiced by Clancy Brown. Now, Clancy Brown has already made an appearance on the show, voicing Damien Darkblood in the first season of the show. So he voices the leader of the Viltrum people in General Craig. And it is a bleak ending to the episode where basically Craig goes to Mark, and when Mark's basically, it looks like he's dead again. Just basically, he looks like in the same spot he was at the end of season 1, where he's basically like, so you're going to go back to Earth, and your job now is you get Nolan's responsibility now. It is your job for the people of Viltrum to conquer Earth. And Craig basically tells him, if you resist, or the people of Earth resist us taking over, I'm going to kill millions. And unlike Nolan, we are not going to change our minds. So we get a huge cliffhanger where Mark is now being sent back to Earth to conquer Earth for the Viltrum people. I am so interested to see where this show goes in part 2. It was a crazy episode, fantastic action, a lot of emotion across the board. And it will definitely be a big deal once Omni-Man goes to Earth in the next, if he does come back either in this season or the 3rd season. Also, what does Mark now do with his kind of stepmom, I guess, and brother? Again, those years go in, Thraxans live in 1 year human years. So that will make that another interesting dynamic as we move into the back half of season 2. But I am definitely sad that we're not getting the rest of the season until early 2024. Now, they did say early 2024. We've not gotten an official release date, month and date, when these final 4 episodes will be coming out. But I love season 2 so far. A lot of good twists and turns, and I'm excited because they've left this place in a very bleak place once again, heading into the back half of the show. So that is my spoiler thoughts on season 2, episode 4 of Invincible. What are your thoughts on the show? Let me know in the comment section down below. More videos are coming out soon, and I'll see you guys.